"I see they've shown you a menu," Parson Garland said, when the tiresome story of his taxi ride from Westminster to Charles Street had finally wound to an end. "As to wines, shall we go Burgundian? What do you think? There's a mighty court in Charlemagne to begin with, and I happen to know they've recently added a La Tâche that it would surely be madness to pass over." Oliver was well aware that the only La Tâche on the list cost over £400 a bottle. He suspected that Parson Garland knew that Oliver would know this. He thought to himself, "Trying to impress me, are you? Trying to soften me up, you in your old Harrovian tie and Christchurch cufflinks. Jesus God, what kind of man wears college cufflinks?" They moved downstairs from the bar to the dining room. Parson Garland had ordered a boiled egg crammed with beluga caviar, which he ate with repulsive elegance as he talked. "Let me first of all assure you that I'm not here to enlist your support for my bill," he said. "That would be quite improper, quite improper. However, as you may be aware, there remains a certain level of confusion about the implications of my proposals both within and without the House. There are those who cast doubt on the bill's technical, legal and practical feasibility. It depends, as you know, upon the creation of a new body, something akin to America's National Security Agency. Our own GCHQ won't quite answer, I'm sure you agree with me there." Oliver moved his head in a manner that might have been interpreted as a nod. "Quite so. My proposed agency would have considerable, even awe-inspiring powers. We already have satellites that can scan the surface of our world, but I am suggesting an electronic capability that would allow us to scan, as it were, beneath the surface. We have the macrocosm, let us help ourselves to the microcosm. There are those who fear that I am taking, as The Guardian put it only this morning, one hell of a civil liberty." Oliver made another non-committal movement of the head. A nauseating vision arose in his head of Parson Garland pasting his press reviews into an album and sending them to his mother. "It seems to me," Ashley went on, delicately pressing at the corners of his mouth with a napkin, "that I need a trusted figure, someone of irreproachable integrity and proven expertise in the field of security, who is willing to shoulder the responsibility of building such an agency from the ground up. If it were known in the right quarters that a man of the reputation of Sir Oliver Delft might be prepared to take the job on—" Parson Garland took a prim sip of wine and let the thought hang. "I've not heard anything," Oliver said, "that leads me to believe that your bill will meet with success." "Naturally not. The bill will fail. That is axiomatic. We take it as read and move on. The issue will have been laid out, you see. That is the point. The possibility of government having such power within its grasp will have been propounded. The genie, as it were, will be out of the bottle. Such tedious niceties as open debate will have to take a powder. I hate to remind you of this, B.G., but you are not in government, you are in opposition." "Oh, as to that," Ashley waved his hand, "while a week may be a long time in politics, a decade is but a passing breath. The Blessed Margaret already feels like a distant dream, does she not? His toniness, too, will disappear into the vacuum of history in a twinkling. I'm sure you agree with me that it is in the interests of your service to take a longer, more strategic view. My suggestion is that you and I develop an informal relationship. Consider it as a wager on the future. I have no doubt that you have cultivated unpleasantly ambitious politicians like myself before now. You see, I have at least the virtue of self-knowledge. If I were to suggest to my masters that I do favour the idea of an agency along the lines that you have proposed, how would that benefit you?" "It would benefit the country," said Ashley. "That may sound sententious, but I happen to believe it to be true. It would also establish my credentials in the field. Opposition provides few opportunities to do more than talk. The popularity of my bill amongst some journalists and much of the public is one thing, but I need to demonstrate to my party that I am capable of treading my way around the dark and slippery corridors that people like you inhabit without coming an arser. You follow?" Said Oliver. "I think I do." Parson Garland put him in mind of those poisoned toads whose heads were said to contain jewels, ugly and dangerous to be sure, but offering the possibility of great riches nonetheless if handled properly. "There is nothing unethical about mutual advantage," said Ashley, as if reading his thoughts. "Quite the reverse, I should say." "Do you remember when we first met?" Oliver asked. Ashley seemed a little taken aback by the question. "Well, now let me see," he said, twisting the stem of his wine-glass and screwing up his piggy eyes. "I pride myself on a fair memory. I fancy it may have been at the Telegraph Christmas party in Brooks's Club, December 1989. "No, no," said Oliver. "We met many years before that. You were still a schoolboy."